Okay, so according to Christianity, there's only one heaven and there's just one narrow path to heaven. And even on this path, it comes with trials and tribulations and temptations and all that. But whoever will survive on this path eventually will get to heaven. The question is, why should there be just one path for all the diversity of people all over the earth? And even if that is true, look at Christianity alone. We have Catholic, Anglican, Pentecostals. Even the Pentecostals, they've had fractions, with this church coming out of that church. I grew up in the Apostolic Church, and according to our history, Pentecost came out of Apostolic. At the point, other churches, Christ Apostolic, other Reformed churches came out of that. We see churches always breaking away from the mother church. So the point is, if there's only one narrow path to heaven, and heaven is only one, why would God even allow or sit to watch that there's so much diversity in the church to the extent that people have to break away? And eventually realize that when people break away from churches, their set of doctrines, even though they may be following the Bible, realize that they just pick a portion of the Bible and to suit their stand or wherever they are. So realize that in some churches they give tithes and it's mandate, like it's compulsory. Other churches they don't give tithe, but you can give other offerings. I remember those times when I was growing up in church as a lady. There are some parts of the scriptures that says a lady shouldn't wear the male outfit and vice versa. And we're being told wearing trousers, was a male outfit. So in my church, for instance, nobody had to wear trousers to church. But now things have changed. The youth are in jeans, trousers, and all other things that was supposed to be for boys, And I used to even wonder, we wear underwear. It's like knicker. Wasn't all a form of trial. I remember those days you didn't have to show your hair coming to church, but now things are changed, to the extent that they are covering their hair with Brazilian wig and hats and all. That's not to say people can't do that, but the church is always changing its doctrine or way of doing things. I remember those days in my church, you couldn't use makeup because you're worldly, you are using products of Mami Ota and all that. But now look at the pastors' wives. Some are even beauticians and all that. That's not to say people can't do what they want. But the point is, if people can have the freedom to be able to do whatever they want, as long as it suits them and it's not hurting a third party, then it shows that there's no one heaven and there's no one path to heaven. That's why the churches keep diverting, and every day in, day out, there's always a new church with some Muhundios name somewhere in the corner, whether in the classroom, whether on top of a roof. Some are even doing church meetings in hotels and pubs and restaurants, I remember there used to be this church. Yeah, that was being done in a nightclub on weekends. That's just to say. But as you grow up, you realize that the world is such a big place to box everyone into one corner, that if we don't follow this narrow path, we are aimed for destruction. And so most of us, like me, even though we didn't fit in the church, we had to be there. And now I see my mom struggling so much, with everything around her, because as her children, we try something. It's like, oh, don't try that. We are Christians. We were never taught these things. I'm like, you're not taught, so what? I went to school, unlike you. I use a computer. I traveled. I saw so many things, and I realized people are inventing things all the time. And here we are. Now the church uses microphone. These are made by worldly people. The churches keep changing their furnitures and church buildings, artifacts and all that. These are innovations of people who are thinking. If the people didn't think and they were all boxing their minds into one place, who would have brought about inventions? So this is just to let you know that, whoever is a Christian and wants to box their mind, it's up to you. Nobody is forcing you. But for people who have always felt like me, felt so different, not so different to the extent you are suicidal or you have negative attitudes and all that, but who feel they are greater than or bigger than just that one mind in church, that you're going to heaven. So don't try anything. Don't be innovative, because whatever innovations you're bringing about could be worldly or sinful. Just be there and see how Africa is. Those of you who have traveled, or even if you have not traveled, you go on the internet, you see pictures of other places all over the world like Europe, and every Africa wants some way to open, and they are in churches praying, "Eradi be a common meal, God open up a way, let me go abroad to go and enjoy euros and pounds and dollars and all that." And the more we are going, the more we just leave our land to be destroyed. So far, well, I haven't gone outside of Accra so much, but in Accra, you can't find any nice river because all the river bodies have been turned to refuse dams. It's so sad. You can be walking by a stream or something, people will put refuse in the stream, and you talk and you become the enemy. They can even beat you up if you're not careful. So in Accra, everybody is silent about what people do wrong, because if you try to do anything, you are the enemy. I remember one time we had an AMA boss who would go around trying to put order on the street, and some, especially with our local drivers who pride their own vehicles, and some of these drivers would fight him and all that. Eventually, they had to change him. That's the state of Africa, because everybody is going to heaven, so nobody thinks about the land. It's high time Africans will wake up, we learn to be innovative about our lands, the things we have. And I also remember, is it the MP for one of the Accra towns or municipalities, Senator Rollins, and in one of her manifestos, she said she was going to turn the Kole Lagoon into a beautiful water body, with all probably some small canoes for tourism and all that. But I know it's difficult. That situation in Accra, people don't want to change. People shit in water bodies. Oh my God. These are like prized treasures in Europe, in the city where they are just beautiful things, and here we come, our land, and it's just so sad. You don't have enough words to describe the state of an average African mind. But at the end of the day, the message is simple. There are so many paths to heaven, and at the end of the day, you should choose the path that suits you. And I just love it that a lot of Africans are waking up and trying new things all over. It's so beautiful. I'm also working with my mind and seeing what I can bring new to the board. But till then, let's know there are many heavens, even in the church. The church realizes there are many heavens. That's why when the junior pastors are with the churches and they realize things are not going on, or they realize some opportunities somewhere, they are quick. They mobilize resources, get one or two things here. They start some church in the school building, get a few chairs on that. Recently, I read a story where one guy had sold his family house to give the money to, he had actually given the family house to, is it Christ Embassy? I mean, even if you won't stay inside, you could have used the family house for a business that everybody will enjoy, and it will bring income. You just sell it off like that. Brain drain, ignorance, brainwashing. Oh my God, Africa, we are so pathetic. But I know gradually we're growing, we are learning. It's not too late, and someday there will be a way where there seems to be no way. Long live Africa, long live the black race, long live all of humanity. Peace.